Okay, so this is the FIP on 112.15, and this is number 1. Initially, we've got the force diagram, then we're doing sum of forces on the y, force of Cayley, which is down. Then we've got 2 other forces to contend with. We have force of Shannon on the y, which is going to be up, and we have force of Josh on the y, which is going to be down. So those are the 4 forces that we're dealing with. These 2 are givens, 458, and I chose, when I was doing my calculations, to use sort of the Cartesian normals, up, positive, down, negative, positive x-axis, positive, negative x-axis, negative. So I have 458 plus, and then the force of Cayley will be negative 364. And then the force of Shannon on the y is going to be the force of Shannon times the sine of 35. And that'll be a positive. And then the force of Josh on the y is going to be force of Josh times sine of 47. The only difference here is that the force of Josh, because of its direction, we're going to assign that as a negative. And I've been doing it kind of like that. So, pardon? No, Shannon is up. Shannon's force is directed, well, north, I'm sorry. Shannon's force is directed north, and north here is positive, south here is negative. Josh's y force is directed south, so that one's going to be the negative. So what we get for sum of forces on the y-axis, I'll spare you the arithmetic on here. We get 197.51732, and it's south, so the answer we get is negative. You could have done this a different way. You could have just assigned the larger forces, the positives, and then you get sort of an absolute value, you get a positive answer. It doesn't matter. What's important to keep in mind is which forces are in opposition. So using the Cartesian sort of standards is easy for most of us because it's something you've kind of gotten your whole life mathematically. Okay, so we've got...
How do you know to do the sine?
Because there's an angle here, and so here, let me make the lines in a different color. So we know that those forces are broken up like that. Yeah. So there's a triangle. Any
Always do that when there's angles there.
Yes, always. Yeah, if their force is not all on one axis or the other, you have to resolve that vector into its components. So, okay, so we've got our sum of forces on the y. Now let's do sum of forces on the x. This one's much, much prettier, much simpler. So we have the force of Josh on the x, and that's that direction, and we have the force of Shannon on the x, which is back in that direction. And Josh's is negative, just based on our Cartesians. So the negative of cosine 47 times 917 newtons, plus, and Shannon's is cosine 35 times 661 newtons. Very, very hard to read. I apologize. Let me shrink and move this. Okay, so this is also cosine of the angle. Okay, so what we get for our, so this is cosine of 35. Okay, so what we get for our sum of forces on the x-axis is negative 83.93, etc. newtons, and it's that direction. That's the important thing. So then what we have for our 2 components of our overall resultant vector, that's what we have in front of us now. So we have 197.5, etc. newtons down or southward, and we have 83.93 83.93, etc. newtons eastward. So our resultant is going to look like that.
Do you know it's this way because Josh's are bigger than Shannon?
Well, you know it's this way because the numbers tell us. I mean, yeah, yes, you could look at it that way.
'Cause if I
But we assign Josh's as a negative and Shannon's as a positive based on just Cartesian standards. Cartesian coordinate system, XY axis.
I thought this way was negative.
When you
That's
do
why
it, but then let's make that doing it positive.
Oh shoot, you're right. Yeah, so yeah, I screwed up the Cartesians on this one. Sorry.
Good, 'cause I was
Sorry. No, that's my mistake. It doesn't matter in the long run. I assign Josh as a negative and the answer's negative, we know Josh wins. You're absolutely right though. I screwed up. So, sorry about that for all you out there listening, Brooke. So yeah, I screwed up the signs there.
Because she's on the in Josh's one.
So then would you get a positive?
You would. And again, if you keep these little arrows
But yeah.
here, it helps. Yeah, I screwed up.
Josh always wins.
Josh wins.
Which one?
Just write
I don't know. You guys decide who wants a stuffed turkey more.
Maybe we need to rewrite.
That's what I
another
thought.
column. We need to rewrite another one.
Okay,
Between us.
so we end up with this now for our overall triangle. So the net force is equal to the square root of our 197.5 whatever squared plus our 83.9 etc. squared. So we end up with a net force of 214.610902 newtons. And to do our theta, to get theta, we use tangent. Okay, we'll keep working on this tomorrow.